Sir, it's Remembrance Day 2019. Could you tell me, please, what Remembrance Day means to you?
Well, my dad was in the Second World War. It has a lot of meaning to me. My grandfather was in the First World War, so it has a lot of memories.
What will you do today at 11 o'clock?
Well, I'll be silent, 11:11.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Can I ask you, please, what Remembrance Day means to you?
It means a lot. It's my memories of the past, and I find it very sad.
I see.
And I like to look at every year. I try to remember.
Did you have anybody in your family that served in any of our wars?
I do. 2 uncles, yes.
And did they survive the war?
One did, one didn't.
One did and one didn't. Okay.
So, thank
Anything else that you want to tell us?
No, I'm just glad to be alive to celebrate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, it's Remembrance Day 2019, and I'd like to ask you what it means to you, please.
Well, it's very, very important to me. Probably the most important day of the year. My family being in Canada for a long, long period of time. My first relative killed in action was my great uncle John MacDonald, who was 2IC to General Brock, and after Brock fell, he became the commander of the Canadian, what it was then the British forces in 1812 at Niagara Falls, and there's a big plaque to him at Brock's Monument. So that's the first one. I lost a number of great uncles in the First War, and fortunately in the Second War, there were family members lost, but not direct, they're sort of cousins as opposed to either my parents, grandparents, or uncles and aunts. So the Second War doesn't have quite as painful memories as the First War, but there've been lots of family stories about those who were lost in the First War. So Remembrance Day is tremendously important, and I'll go further to say that Don Cherry was correct in his observation that it seems that many fewer people are wearing poppies than they did a few years ago. And to me, that's tremendously sad. I do understand that for many people who've come to this country more recently, that they won't have had the experience that I have had in losing relatives in war for Canada. But I think the poppy has to morph into a symbol for respect for our armed forces and what they contribute on a regular basis. And everybody should wear a poppy. Beg one, borrow one, pick one up off the ground, but it's a symbol of freedom for this country, and that it doesn't come free, and that there are people every day out there prepared to put their life on the line for Canada and Canadians. So how's that?
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Good.
Ma'am, I noticed you have a lot of spirit today on Remembrance Day with the umbrella. Everybody can see it, and with the poppy. May I ask you, please, what does Remembrance Day mean to you?
Yeah, well, it's one of the saddest days for me. I lost a grandfather in the war. His ship was torpedoed. I never got to know him. His sons grew up without a father. There was 3 of them. I grew up without a grandfather. I mean, there's so many men and women that did the ultimate sacrifice, and so we could be out here enjoying the freedom that we do have. I should also say that I'm disappointed in the number of people not at least acknowledging it by wearing a poppy. I just got off the subway and I was actually counting. It was maybe 1 in 30 people that would have at least wear the poppy for what, if nothing else, for one day, for this day. And I can't imagine what will happen at 11 o'clock if there'll be people just going on about their business and not even acknowledging that the sacrifices that others have made for us. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, I'm asking people about Remembrance Day. It's 2019. Could you please make a comment about this day?
I was born September 3rd, 1939, the day the Second World War was declared. My father went off to war for 5.5 years, and that's how old I was when he came home, and rode on his shoulders when they all arrived at the armories. And that's my remembrance of the Second World War.
What will you be doing at 11:11 today?
I'll be watching television and a program that will tell me what's going on today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, is there something that you want to tell the younger generation about Remembrance Day?
I guess if they haven't been there or they don't know anyone who was there, they don't know. And that's sad.
And they should look into it, I imagine.
Well, I expect that they do, but it wouldn't have the same impact or feeling for them as it would for all of us and who survived.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies, it's Remembrance Day 2019, and I'm asking people who have an idea of what Remembrance Day actually is. Could you please tell me, what does Remembrance Day mean to you?
My dad was in the Second World War. I didn't have him for 4 years, and I respected everything he did when he came home and until he died.
Okay, thank you. And you, ma'am?
Ditto. My father was away when I was a little girl. Many thousands of Canadians and other people went to Europe to defend democracy for everyone in the world.
Okay, and how will you guys mark Remembrance Day today? What will you guys do?
City Hall, old City Hall, and I meet my daughter, one of my daughters down there, and we stay and watch everything, and then we go across the street to the pub and have lunch.
That's fantastic. Guys, have fun. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Tell you